This is Land of Havilah, Job 25. Job just went through a litany of evils on the earth, everything from the untimely death of the righteous, to people who move boundary markers on their land, to theft, the miseries of the poor, murder, adultery, all kinds of fraud, the ongoing prosperity of those who perpetrate these things, and the death of everyone, no matter who they are. Isn't all this so? Job wants to know. He's challenging his friends to explain all that. How does all this fit into their simple scheme of the world, that God squelches the wicked and maintains the righteous? The evidence around us clearly shows that God doesn't destroy the wicked, at least not immediately, and if he rewards the righteous, that's not so readily apparent either, at least not immediately. We could give part of the answer from Romans 3:10, quote, "There's none righteous, not even one," end quote. So it's a fallacy that there is any such thing as a righteous person outside of their cleansing by God. So from that perspective, no one can expect to be rewarded on the basis of his righteousness. And we could give part of the answer from Jesus, that God treats everyone well, making the sun to shine and rain to fall on the just and the unjust, Matthew 5:45. So Jesus is confirming the idea that God doesn't treat the just and unjust all that differently. And we could give part of the answer by pointing to a day of reckoning when God, quote, "will pay back to everyone according to their works," Psalm 62:12 and Romans 2:6. That day has not come yet, so therefore there are inequities for the time being. The wicked don't get the punishment they deserve, at least not right away, and the righteous don't get the reward they deserve, at least not right away. We don't fully get what we deserve, good or bad, until the day of reckoning. We could use our own reasoning that if God controlled everyone, we'd have no capacity to love him freely and serve him freely. We'd serve him inevitably, which would be the same thing as serving him without meaning. Life would have no meaning. The basic age-old question, the problem of evil or question of evil, goes like this. If there is a God as the Bible describes, a God who's all-knowing, all-powerful, and all-good, why then is there evil in the world? Why would such a God allow evil? Or should we make the conclusion that there is no such God as the Bible describes him? These are fair questions, so let's give some fair answers. What do we expect? How would we expect such a God to react to evil? Let's say someone commits a despicable crime, and God, to eliminate evil from the earth, immediately strikes the perpetrator with lightning. That wouldn't work. Could we call such a God good to strike someone with lightning? Or would he be good not to strike him? Let's point out another difficulty with the theory that God should eliminate evil. If he struck perpetrators, it wouldn't take long until he had struck everyone. There'd be no one left. And another difficulty with it, if he struck evildoers immediately, the rest of us would see evildoers dropping like flies all around us the moment they commit an act of evil, and we'd catch on very quickly that we better be very careful. We'd be afraid to go out of the house because we might encounter someone, slip up and commit a wrong against him, and bingo, we'd get the lightning bolt. So it becomes silly very quickly to expect that a good God should remove evil from the present world. There'd be no world for the human race to live in, and no opportunity for anything, bad or good. Now a person might say, well, God should be able to figure it out somehow, how to make a world with no evil. Would have to agree that that would be a world of robots, not of free agents. There'd be no opportunity to demonstrate love, forgiveness, or any good thing, no opportunity for free human agency, and no faith in the world. So there'd be no profit for man in such a world. There'd be no profit for God to create such a world of robots, because robots can't demonstrate faith and love toward him. A robot is simply do exactly as he's programmed to do. It'd be impossible for a robot to please God, because without faith it's impossible to please him. Hebrews 11:6. So we have the world we have, which is the best of all possible worlds. It's a place where we can make meaningful decisions to do either good or evil, and eventually be rewarded or punished as God's righteousness requires. Eventually God will destroy this place, and those who have eternal life will live on, their rewards being merited and their love being proven. Merit and love couldn't exist unless it were proven and established in a fallen world. Now, what about someone like Job? He has a horrible skin condition through no fault of his own or anyone else. No man did it to him. It wasn't the result of Job sinning, because God held Job to be righteous, and obviously no other person on earth did it to him. There's no place to point except to Satan and God. Satan did it, and God allowed it. How can that be justified? That's a little bit more difficult question, but we can say this by saying again, if there were no problems in the world, there'd be no opportunity for faith, love, hope, perseverance, patience, or the eventual rewards that follow behind them. But getting back to the text, Job's friend Bildad will speak for the last time. Verse 1. Then Bildad the Shuhite answered, Dominion and fear are with him. He makes peace in his high places. Can his armies be counted? On whom does his light not arise? How then can a man be just with God, or how can he who's born of woman be clean? Behold, even the moon has no brightness, and the stars are not pure in his sight. How much less man who is a worm, the son of man who is a worm? Comment, Bildad was right about that much. God is majestic and righteous on high and on the earth, but men are not. That's all Bildad has to say. From here on, the three friends will remain completely quiet. It seems like Job's been successful in shutting their mouths, but we're only about 60% of the way through the book. Coming in the rest of the book, Job will speak for 6 chapters straight. Then a fourth friend will appear from nowhere and speak for 6 chapters straight. That'll be Elihu. Then God will speak for the better part of 4 chapters. Job 26 is next.